So we see lots of evidence this year that our service is gaining ground against the violence and disorder that have taken hold of our communities over the past several years. In fact, our overall crime severity is the lowest rate we've seen now in 10 years. And our overall crime rate has dropped 2.5% in 24, reaching a level that we have not seen since 2014. We have been relentless, as been said before, in pursuing safety from the lenses of both empathy and accountability, and our overall crime rate is down about 25% from its peak in 2018-2019, reaching the lowest level that we've seen in 10 years. Better resource levels and planning allow us to achieve higher levels of proactive work by our officers, have factored as contributing to the overall increase in calls for service that we see at 5.1%. More proactive policing emerging from our community safety teams is producing more discernible differences in our ability to be more responsive and to address challenges before they escalate into larger issues. It's tempting, especially in last week as a chief, to reflect on the wins in these numbers, and let me be clear, there are some clear hard-earned wins despite the distractions, but I also want to be clear there's still much work to be done. The key challenge ahead in 2025 is to combat the disorder and the issues that impact people's feelings of safety. The disorder on the streets that continue to keep people off transit or from coming back to work in the downtown. These, as we've said many times, are not just policing issues, but they are urgent issues.
So compared to 2023, we saw an increase of 5.1% in calls for service, which is the highest track calls for service that we've had since 2019. We used to hold 2019 as our threshold or our benchmark for what was our highest year of calls for service. We're now 195,000 calls for service in 2024. So if you look at last year, 2024, we actually saw a decrease in the amount of times the public is calling the police and an increase in the number of times our members are intervening in things proactively. And to give a broader example of that, in what spaces are we seeing that punctuated the greatest? Where we're seeing it punctuated the greatest is on transit. Our investment, which was a co-investment from the government of Alberta, and the creation of our transit safety teams and deploying them on transit across all the lines, have seen a significant increase in the number of events that our transit officers are going to, and that's the top graph. The result of that is what you're seeing in the bottom graph, which is a significant decrease in the amount of crime severity measured on transit. We have way more Edmontonians now than we did in 2023 and 2024, though we have the total number of crimes and the total number of the severity of those crimes. When you factor in the population rate, which will show a growth for 2024, when we get the new number from StatCan, which comes out in the July release, is those will be factored in, and that crime severity and crime rate reductions, which we're seeing reductions in both, will be even larger than we're currently reporting today.